Database access with Enterprise Java Bean. At the end of this session, you will able to perform CRUD operations with MySQL database using EJB. To perform CRUD operations with MySQL database, first create a table in MySQL database using MySQL Workbench. Then open MySQL Workbench, provide the login credential to connect with MySQL database. Then create a table in any of the schema available in your MySQL database. I'm creating a table in the database schema KLU. Choose the tables and right click and use the option create table. Provide the table name employee and create three columns employee ID and set data type as integer and make it as primary key. Then create second column name with data type varchar by default 45. Then create another column salary with data type int. Then apply. It generates a query to create a table employee in the schema KLU. Then click on apply. It executes the query. Then finish. The table is created. Then use SQL query editor to retrieve data from the table. So use the select query. Select star from table name from the database schema KLU dot table name employee. In execute a query, it retrieves data from the table employee. So right now the table is empty. Insert some records manually. So I entered employee ID is 1001 and the name of the employee and salary of an employee. Then 1002 and the name of the employee and the salary. Then click on apply. It generates an insert query based on the input. Then apply, finish and execute one more time select query to ensure the data will be stored in the table employee. Then open Red Hat Code Ready Studio to create a new Maven project by using file new Maven project. Then select architecture type quick start version 1.4. Apply filter to select the architecture type quick start 1.4. Then choose Maven architect quick start version 1.4. Next, provide the details of group ID, project name in the artifact ID field. I just named the project as EJB database. Then click on finish. It generates a directory structure based on the architecture type quick start version 1.4. Once the build process is completed, we can explore the directory structure in the project explorer. First step, we need to delete the default package which is created for app.java file based on the architecture type quick start version 1.4. So just right click on the default package, delete. Then convert it into a dynamic web application. So choose the project root directory, use the option build path, next configure build path, then select project paysets and click on convert to paysetted form. Select dynamic web module version 3.1, change the Java version to 1.8 and select JavaScript and Java server pages version 2.2. Then click on further configuration available. Enable the checkbox to generate web.xml file. Next, ensure the JSF implementation library type is disable library configuration. In URL mapping pattern, by default you have pages. In addition to that, we need to add star.jsf. If it is not, use the add button to add the URL star.jsf. Then OK. Then apply and close. Now the directory structure is converted into dynamic web application. Then open the file form.xml. Update Maven compiler source and target to 1.8. Then add dependencies. So we need to add three dependencies. One is for Java server bases, and another one for enterprise Java bin, and another one for MySQL connector. So search the dependency details in the website mvnrepository.com. So apply a search JBoss JSF API. Then choose Java Server Bases 2.2 API. Select the latest version, copy the dependency details and paste it in the form.xml file under the tag dependencies. Then find a dependency for enterprise Java bin. So in the same website mvnrepository.com, search like enterprise Java bins. This is the link where we can get the dependency detail for enterprise Java bin. So click on this and select the latest version, copy the dependency details and paste it in form.xml file. Then find out a dependency for MySQL connector. So search like MySQL connector. So this is the link where we can find dependency detail for MySQL connector. Then choose the latest version, copy dependency details and paste it in form.xml file. So as of now we added three dependencies. One is for Java server bases, another one for EJB, then MySQL. Then save the file form.xml, close and update the project. Choose the project root directory, right click and use the option May 1 update project. Then click OK. Once the project is updated, open the tag marker. There you can see the warning error class path entry. So choose the warning error, right click, use the option quick fix and select any one of this, finish. Now the directory structure is ready to implement EJB to access the database. Then locate the web.xml file in the directory src main webapp then webinf. Open a file web.xml, open it in source view. In the welcome file list, change any one of the welcome file format as index.jsf, then remove all other file formats. Then save the file web.xml and close. Then create a index.xhtml page in the webapp directory. So choose webapp directory, right click and use the option new xhtml page. Enter the file name as index.xhtml. Then finish. Now the file is created in the name index.xhtml in the directory webapp. Then choose the build path src main java. Create three packages. Use the option new package. Create a package in the name com.controller. So create another package in the same com.entity. Then create one more package com.model. So next create a class entity class to access the database table. So choose the package com.entity, right click and use the option new class. Enter the class name as employee. Then finish. Now the employee.java file is created in the package com.entity. So then implements the interface serializable. Okay, then place a cursor on the class name employee there is option to add default serial version ID. So now the serial version ID is added into the class entity class employee. Then create an instance variable. Three instance variables is required. In the database table employee, we created three columns: employee ID, name, and salary. So I create an instance variable for integer data type, employee ID, and string name and int salary. So then generate get and set methods for these three instance variables. Then choose employee.java in the project directory structure. Use the option source generate getters and setters. Select the instance variable employee ID, name and salary. Then click on generate. It generates get and set method for employee ID, name and salary. Then save, close the file employee.java. Then create a Java class in the package com.model. So choose the package com.model. Use the option new class. Enter the class name as employee manager. Then finish. So now the file employee manager.java created in the package com.model. Next, create interface in the same package to access the session bin remotely. So choose the package com.model and use the option new interface and named it as employee remote. So then finish. Now the interface is also created in the same package com.model. Then open a file employee remote.java. Add the annotation to access remotely at remote. Then create a methods. Then open a file employee remote.java. Add annotation to access remotely at remote. Then declare a methods to perform CRUD operations. So method is declared in the name save data to perform insert operation on the database table employee. So this is the entity class name. Just place cursor on this, then add the package import employee from the package com.entity. Then create another method to retrieve data from the database table. Use the list class. The list class type is employee. So the method getData is declared with return type list for the data type employee to retrieve data from the database table and return those details in the form of list. So add package for list class. So place cursor on the error list, then use the option import list from java.util package. Then create two more methods for update and delete operation. Then save the file employee remote.java, close and open the file employee manager.java. Convert this plain Java class into stateless session B by adding the annotation stateless and implement the interface employee remote. So then place a cursor on the class name employee manager, then choose add unimplemented methods. So it generates a method save data, get data, update data, delete data based on the declaration available in the interface employee remote. So here we can write a logic to perform insert operation. The method get data for retrieving data from the database table, and method update for perform update operation on the database table, and delete data is the method. We can write a logic to perform delete operation here. So then start implementing a logic to perform insert operation into the database table. So create a connection interface and initialize by using the class driver manager with the get connection method, and pass three parameters. One is connection URL, database username, and database password. The connection URL for MySQL database is jdbc colon mysql colon / localhost with port number 3306 and a database schema name. I created table in MySQL database in the schema name KLU. Then second parameter is the username of MySQL database. The default username is root. And the third parameter is the MySQL database password. This is my MySQL database password. You can use your own MySQL database password. Then create object for preferred statement and initialize by using the object of connection interface with the method preferred statement. Here we can write a query to perform insert operation. Insert into table name employee values. The table employee has three columns. So place three parameters. Then set value for the parameters. ps dot call the method setInt to set value for the first parameter. So it is from the parameter object employee e dot call the method getEmployeeID and set parameter value for name. ps dot call the method setString and parameter sequence number 2 value from the parameter object e dot call the method getName and then set value for third column, that is salary. It is declared as integer in the database table. So use the method setInt parameter sequence number 3 value from the object e dot get salary. So then call the method ps dot execute to execute an insert query. Then close the connection. Return response as an acknowledgement. So this is the response after completion of insert operation. So in the method get data, first create object for connection interface to establish a connection with MySQL database. Driver manager dot get connection with three parameters: connection URL, and database username and database password. I just copy paste from the save data method. Then create object for preferred statement. Initialize by using the connection object and call the method preferred statement. Here we can write a query to retrieve data from the database table. Select star from table name employee, then create object for result set and initialize by using ps dot execute query. So this is the statement to execute a select query, and result of the select query will be assigned to the object rs of result set. Then create object for list class with the data type employee and initialize by using array list class, and the type is employee. So then create a loop to retrieve data from the object result set. So the next method will return a boolean value. If the object rs has a data, it returns true. If the object rs does not have any data, it returns false. So inside the loop, create object for the entity class employee, then set value for e dot set employee id, value from the object rs dot use the method getInt to retrieve data from column number 1. Then e dot set name, value from the object rs dot use the method getString to retrieve value from column number 2. Then e dot set salary, value from the object rs dot getInt retrieve value from column number 3. Then pass this object to the list. L dot call the method add and pass the object e as a parameter to the method add. So then close the connection and return list object. So I just copy paste the first statement, connection equal to driver manager dot get connection. Then create object for preferred statement and initialize by using the object of connection interface. The method preferred statement. Here we can write a query to perform update operation. Update table name employee, set name equal to some parameter, comma salary equal to value from the parameter, condition where employee id equal to value from the parameter. Then assign value to the parameters by using ps dot. The first parameter is name, second parameter is salary, and third parameter is employee id. So used to call the method ps dot set string to set value for parameter number 1, value from the object e dot call the method get name, and set value for second parameter ps dot call the method set int parameter number 2 and get value from e dot get salary. As per the parameterized query, the third parameter is employee id, so used to call the method set int to set value for the third parameter from the object e dot get employee id. So then execute a query by using ps dot execute method. Then close the connection, return an acknowledgement, record updated successfully. So created object for connection interface and create object for preferred statement ps equal to object of connection interface dot call the method prepare statement. Here we can write a query to perform delete operation. Delete from table name employee where employee id equal to value from the parameter. Then set value for the parameter ps dot used to call the method setInt since the employee id is declared as integer in the table employee in MySQL database. Use parameter sequence number 1 value from the object e dot get employee id. So in this parameterized query only one value has been used, that is employee id. So no need to set remaining two values get name and get salary. So then execute a query by using ps dot execute statement. Then close the connection. Then return an acknowledgement. Record deleted successfully. Now the employee manager is created as stateless session bin. Then we need to create a controller to interact with all these four operations as well as with the JSF page. So create a controller in the package com.controller. Right click, use the option new class. I named the controller as employee data. Then finish. So the file name employee data.java is created in the package com.controller. So now convert this plain Java class into managed bean class by adding the annotation at managed bean. Set the attribute name equal to, then set another attribute eager equal to true. Then create instance variable to interact with the Java server page. Int employee id, string name and int salary, and create object for list. List type is employee from the package com.entity. Create object as list. Then create one more instance variable for response. Then generate get and set method for all these instance variables. Choose the file name employee data.java. Right click, use the option source, generate getters and setters. Select all the instance variables and generate get and set methods. Once the get and set methods are generated for the instance variables, then create object for the the interface employee remote, then create a method to perform insert operation. Create a try catch block. In the try block, create object for the entity class employee and set value for e.setEmployeeID by using the instance variable employee ID of this class. That will be passed as a parameter. Next, set value for e.setName and value from the instance variable name. Then e.setSalary, value from the instance variable salary as a parameter to the method setSalary. Then response equal to, by using the object of employee remote, call the method save data and pass the object of entity class employee as a parameter to the method save data. The save data method is implemented in the stateless session bin employee manager. It performs the insert operation and returns an acknowledgement as record saved successfully. If any error occur during this process, that will be handled by the catch block. Then the response will be object of exception class e dot call the method get message to get error information. Like this, we can create two more methods for update and delete operation. I just copy the method public void save and paste, name the method as update and call the method update data and pass the object of entity class employee as a parameter to the method. Next, create another method for delete operation. So I just paste the existing content, change the method name as delete and call the method er.delete data and pass the object of entity class employee as a parameter to the method delete data. So all the three operations are implemented: insert, update and delete. Still the operation retrieving data from the database table is pending. So then find out the method getList. The getList method is already generated by using getters and setters. So this is for data retrieving. So here create a try catch and use the object list, assign value from the employee remote object er dot call the method get data. So the get data method retrieves data from the database table employee and prefers a list. Finally returns a list object as a result. So that will be stored in the object list. If any error occurred, that will be handled by the catch block. So then we can set response equal to e dot get message. Open index.xhtml page, design a front end, create HTML tag and create it section and place title tag. Set title as EJB database access. Then create a body section and place a 3 tag. So then create a XHTML form. So create a tag, then start typing h:form and close the tag. So click on the warning error. So place cursor on the warning error and add the namespace h equal to java.sun.com JSF HTML. So now the namespace is added with the HTML tag. Then close the form tag. Here you can place 3 input controls to get input from user: employee ID, name and salary, and place 4 button controls to perform CRUD operations. I am using a paragraph tag to get employee ID. So use the tag h:input text value equal to, choose the controller com.controller, their created managed bin employee data. We set the attribute name equal to emp, so that will be listed here. Choose the managed bin emp dot set value for employee id. Then close the end paragraph tag. Then create a new paragraph tag, get another input employee name by using input text tag and set value equal to emp dot name. Then close a paragraph tag and create a new paragraph tag to get value for employee salary. Input text value equal to managed bin name emp dot set value for salary. Then close a paragraph tag. Then create paragraph tag for response. So we can use h:output label to display the response message on the web browser. So value equal to emp dot get value from response. End with paragraph close tag. Then create a table to place 4 button controls for insert, update, delete. Use the tag command button action equal to managed bin dot. We created 3 methods to perform CRUD operation: save, update and delete. So used to call the method save and value is a caption on the button control save, and close the table data tag. So open a new table data and place another button control for update operation. Command button action equal to managed bin dot call the method update, and the caption on the button as update. End with table data close tag. Then create a new table data tag. Place one more button control for delete operation. Command button action equal to managed bin name dot call the method delete to perform delete operation. So value equal to delete. This is the caption displayed on the button control. Then close the table data. So next to the table, I would like to perform the read operation. So add a tag H3 employee table data. So use data table tag to retrieve data from the database table and display those data in the form of table in JSF page. So H colon data table set attributes value equal to the managed bean emp dot list. So the result will be available in the object of list class. List and variable assign each and every row to the variable r. Then create a columns h colon column and add table header f colon paste and close the tag. It shows warning error. So place cursor on the warning error, add the namespace java.sun.com JSF core. So now the namespace will be added into the HTML tag. So then create a table header by adding the attribute name equal to header and set the title of column. This is employee ID. So then retrieve value for the column employee ID. So start writing expression language as open brace. It displays the available beans. So there you can see the variable which we defined in the data table tag. So this is the variable I defined. So if you place open brace, there you can choose the variable r and call the value for employee ID. So use the instance variable employee ID to retrieve value for employee ID. So repeat the process to create two more columns for name and salary. So I just copy paste the code. I change the table header as name and value from r dot name. So repeat the same process. Create one more column for employee salary. Change the table header as salary. Retrieve value from r dot salary. So now we can deploy and test the result. So choose the project root directory. Use the option run as run on server. Then finish. Once the project is deployed successfully, it opens by default index.jsf file. Okay. So next we need to add a lookup for stateless session bin so that we can get from the console. So just review the console logs. There you can find Java naming directory interface binding for session bin employee manager. So this is the JNDA information. So copy the first option and paste it in. So then open a controller employee.java. In the place of object creation for employee remote interface, add an annotation for EJB and set value for lookup equal to within the double quotes the Java naming directory interface which we copied from the console. We need to add a jar file in the directory library. So copy the jar file which is available in the location C colon local disk C users and select your Windows username. There you can find the folder .m2, then repositories, open the folder MySQL, then MySQL connector.java. There you can choose the version 8.0.29, copy the jar file and paste it in the library folder. So right click, just use the option paste. Now the jar file is available in the directory library. So now you can deploy. So then deploy the project to check the result. Yeah, now it opens index.xhtml and also it retrieves data from the table employee. So we entered these two records manually into the MySQL database. So now we can test the remaining operations in set by adding the employee detail 1003 and the employee name and the salary. Then click on save button. You will get a response, record saved successfully. So in the table also the record will be updated. Then change the name of employee. I just changed the name of an employee and the salary. Then click on update button. We will get a response, record updated successfully. The changes is also reflected in the database table. Previously, the employee name for the employee ID 1003 is KPN. Now it is updated based on the information triple Z and the salary as 26,000. Next, try to execute the delete operation. So if you click on the delete button, you will get a response, record deleted successfully. Now the record 1003 has been removed from the table. So now the table has only two records. So this is how we can access the database by using Enterprise Java Bean.